Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
It's a warm welcome to you from Leadership Television. This is Money Radio. Today being Monday, you are on to the National Economy segment of the program. My name is Case Harmon. I'm your host, and I'm in the studio with Mr. Anthony Uko. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
I want to ask, how are you? Because you look good.
Thank you.
Yes. The topic we're discussing today says why Nigeria's Forex crisis will linger. From the 1980s, the early 1980s, history actually shows that the naira was a little higher than the dollar. By 1985, it went to 17 naira to a dollar. By 1993, around 22, 93, 94, it went to $22 to 22
naira
to a dollar. And then by these things are coming off here because I've lived this situation so much that just to recall in my head. And then by 2003, the thing was somewhere around 122 thereabout. By the time President Obasanjo was leaving office and President Yar'Adua was coming, it was somewhere around 140 something. Then by the time President Yar'Adua passed on and Goodluck Jonathan came, it was around 165. By the time Goodluck Jonathan was leaving, the official rate was around 197, and the parallel market was somewhere around 210, thereabout. Today, it is 420 to a dollar. That is the official market. Actually, there are up to 20 rates I've been through, but we know that the parallel market is now back to 705, 710. During the week, last week, it reached 705, and then it fell back, or it rose back to 690 something. But this week may hold something else. And as we go deeper into the election period, it may actually change, and that is for the worse. And then the Christmas period is coming also. So all of those things have implication. Why Nigeria's Forex crisis will linger? That is the question we are asking. Why do you think so? What is going on that we don't have any stability? In fact, the dullest speculator can just buy dollars today and keep it, and with time, this is naira it will appreciate against the naira, and you have more naira. Why is this happening?
Yes, if you go back in history like you did with the progress or the descent that the value of the naira has made over the years, you would find out that at those that point where you saw the naira being higher in value than the dollar, Nigeria's manufacturing base was very strong. If we go back, we have seen cases where Nigeria was manufacturing or assembling cars here in this country. Nigeria had its agricultural exports were strong. We had many export commodities that were exported in huge quantity, and then at that point also the issue with oil had not yet eaten deep into the fiber of the nation, whereby all the governmental apparatus left every other option, every other viable economic activities, and depended on oil. And over the years, we have seen all this manufacturing bases deteriorating, and then Nigeria becoming more and more dependent on crude oil for its source as its primary source of foreign exchange and then government revenues, to the point where an average state that is endowed with so much natural resources cannot meet its own financial needs with its internally generated revenues, where uh, revenues from the center have dwindled. We've seen many states almost nearly not being able to operate. We've seen many states owing salaries, not being able to continue operating like they do, and then having to incur so much debt, and of course, backed by the federal government. So we have seen the situation deteriorating over the years at the same pace at which the industrial base of the nation has also dwindled. So if we look at it, we would say that Nigeria not improving on its production capacity over the years, and being heavily dependent on imported goods have had a huge impact on the lingering crisis.
I think you hit the nail on the head because this issue we're talking about here is productivity. If
Yeah.
you are not producing anything to sell, just for our listeners, to the knowledge of our listeners, if you are producing nothing, you are bringing in or you are importing, you are only giving because it's the demand for other people's currency
Yes.
which you want to buy. For example, you want to buy something from the US,
Yeah.
you are going to pay for that item in dollars. And the more dollars that you need to buy more goods from the US, the demand for that currency goes higher,
Goes
and
higher.
that makes the currency appreciate.
Yes.
So that's the situation. So for the naira to appreciate, you need people coming to Nigeria to buy Nigerian goods and requiring the
The
naira
naira to do
to
that.
do that. And if they require the naira to do that, of course, the value of the naira is going to appreciate. But we actually are producing virtually nothing right now. When I say virtually nothing compared to the past, because, take for example, you mentioned Nigeria was assembling autos.
Yeah.
Nigeria was producing good agricultural products. And at that time, Nigeria's net export of oil was fairly healthy. Today, things are different. And now let's not forget about the garment industry,
Yes.
the cotton industry,
Cutting the
the textile industry. It was
It was
vibrant.
booming.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a booming one.
Yeah.
So
They were actually exporting
fabrics.
out of this country
Yes.
to other.
So you look at an industry that was employing up to 500,000 people. That was huge. Exporting. People needed the naira to buy Nigerian fabric. People needed the naira to come and buy cars here. Yes,
Yeah.
Volkswagen was here, Peugeot was here, you had an Amco, you had the Mercedes, and a host of others. People needed to come and buy cars here. And then the refineries, although the refineries have never been producing enough to meet the internal demand for fuel, but that much was not being imported. But right now, Nigeria is a net importer of petroleum products because we export crude oil and we import the finished products. All of what is those byproducts
Yes.
go for nothing.
And as we speak, what Nigeria earns on the export of crude oil and gas is not enough
Yes,
to fund the what it uses to
yes.
import the finished
the finished product. Yes. So, and besides that, Nigeria is not even meeting her quota. So all of this, and then to add insult to injury, Nigeria is spending so much on servicing debt. All of these things have implications on the naira. To add more insult to injury, or to add pepper to to injury, you have a situation where this obsession with the dollar by Nigerians is so high. First of all, foreign goods. Foreign goods. Uh, it's so bad that you may not realize it, but it is true. Aba is one of the major producers of shoes, leather products,
Yes.
in shoes and bags in the sub-region. The typical Nigerian prefers to go outside to buy shoes and bags. It may surprise you to know that Nigerians go outside. The Aba producers
Yes.
produce, send their goods outside, and then Nigerians go outside and buy the same Aba products because of that loss of or that lack of confidence in the local products.
Yes.
Yes, and that is what happens. I want to explain a story. My father-in-law told this story. I've forgotten the name of this carpenter, but when it comes to fabric, not all fabric, sorry, not upholstery.
Yes.
The people in Edo State, Benin, they are among the best. So there was this man, this carpenter, who produced his chairs, his living room chairs, and exported. A prominent Nigerian, one of the most prominent Nigerians in Edo State. You may know the name of the person. In fact, I hear that it's Igbenidio, Sir Gabriel Igbenidio. He went to Italy. He saw this set of chairs and he liked it so much. And then he decided, I'm going to buy this. He bought it. He shipped it down to Nigeria. When he got the thing into his house, it was a folded material. It's something you fold and open. So he was finding it difficult to open. So he sent for this carpenter. He sent for the carpenter, the guy came, and he said, I bought this, boastfully. I just bought this from Italy, and I'm looking for somebody to open it. Yeah, I said, this is my chair. I produced it. He said, get away from here. What do you mean this is your chair? You know where I bought this thing from? He said, if I open this thing now, you'll see my name, my signature, my stamp. He said, oh, go ahead, go ahead. I easily opened it, and he showed him, this is my stamp. See my name. And the surprise great man. That's the story I heard from my father-in-law. I wasn't there, but that's the story I heard from him. So
yes, I also have a story to buttress what you're saying.
Would like to hear
yes. Will I say fortunately or unfortunately, I'm among those whose shoe size happens to be on the high side,
yes,
especially for the female.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always maybe from time to time, if there's someone who can get me shoes from Aba, I'll ask them to bring it down.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a particular time it was brought, and then when I collected the shoe, I knew very well that it was made in Aba.
Yes.
But when I got the shoe, I saw made in Italy.
So
I asked the person who brought it, why is the shoe? I know this came from Aba, but why is it having here made in Italy? He said that's the only way we can sell the shoes. And so that is, and when they do it like that, it ends up costing much more than
of course
it should cost.
Of course.
And people will willingly pay for it.
Exactly.
But if they bring that same shoe with that same quality and they tell you made in Nigeria, proudly Nigeria, a lot of people will turn it down. They wouldn't buy it.
Exactly.
So
So that's the issues we have discussed so far. Productivity,
Yes.
lack of productivity. You know, Nigeria has lost so much when it comes to productivity. That is affecting the naira. And then we talk about that obsession for foreign currency. Of course, we have education, health, tourism, all of that. We are aware of those things, but the country is not producing as much as it should to improve the value of the naira. So we are having this problem. Are these things going to reverse? Question to you.
Well, it will take very deliberate policies by the policymakers to be able to reverse the trend. We have seen that happening in the area of agriculture, where the Central Bank of Nigeria has taken deliberate steps to make funding available to rice farmers and other farmers through the Anchor Borrowers program. And I recall the last time the central bank governor spoke about it, he said Nigeria is at the verge of exporting rice, even though there's still, that you still have to take that with a pinch of salt. But that goes to show you that there is so much production of rice within the country, and the awareness has risen so much about the consumption of Nigerian rice that more people are switching to it by the day. So this is an example. So it means that in every area where we are seeing this drain happening, the policy makers in that sphere would have to make deliberate policies that will support that production of those things happen, and then the Nigerians are made to patronize these goods and services here before we can begin to say we'll see less the demand for the dollar dropping.
Yes. All of that, like you say, deliberate policy. We need all the onus rests actually with the next government. By the time the next government comes in, then we will have to. I hope they are listening to you anyway. So that's how we want to wrap up today. Today is Monday. It's been morning radio. So thanks very much for coming again. Thanks to you, our producers. But thanks mainly to you, our listeners. Those of you who follow us loyally on this program. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition, and that will be the Agri and Industry segment of the program. Until then, have a great day. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.